Welcome back, you guys. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and welcome to another 4 talking points video after that nice 2-1 win against Aston Villa. Now for today's talking points, I'll be talking about the centre-back dilemma that Lampard's going to be facing real soon. I'll be speaking about why we've missed Tammy Abraham. I'll speak about Mason Mount, and to end things, I'll be speaking about Ante and Kovacic and why these guys are our most balanced midfield pairing at this moment in time. But still though, you guys, quick plug before I get into things. Of course, today's video is brought to you by the One Football app. At this point in time, all I need to tell you guys to do is go in the description, click on the link and download the app. Do yourselves a favor. And of course, if you like today's video, don't forget to smash that like button. Help me get over 1,500 likes for today's video. Anyway, you guys, we start with the first talking point, and that's in regards to the centre-back dilemma I feel that Lampard's going to face real soon. Now recently, we've seen that Lampard's been more open to rotating at the back. Lampard told us that Tomori was first choice in the team, but at this point in time, it feels like things are a bit different, and it seems like maybe Tomori's position may be up for grabs. Now we've seen that Christensen's been brought back into the team, and I'll tell you guys one thing. I was told that Lampard has really been, I wouldn't say grilling Christensen, but he has been speaking to Christensen, telling him to step up and fix up even more. And I feel with Christensen's performance last night, he definitely gave Lamp something to think about. And it feels like Frank's going to be thinking even harder, because with Rudiger basically being fit, he's going to be available soon for team selections. And at this point, and when you consider that we have Tomori, Christensen and Rudiger partnering the first choice defender in Kurt Zouma at this point in time, well, what's Lampard gonna do? I'm struggling myself, you guys. I feel that we have 4 very good defenders. I feel the skill gap between each defender really isn't too high or pretty much non-existent. I feel if we lost one defender who was out with injury, we have a ready-made quality replacement in any one of these guys, and I feel like it's a very good position to be in. The only issue is, it means that one defender may not be playing as much, and I'm wondering how Lampard is going to cope with this situation. Is he going to rotate more and not worry too much about who's the first and second choice defenders? Or will Lampard maybe rotate the formation at times and introduce a back 3 just to give game time to our defense? Who knows? Who knows? But all we know at this point in time, Kurt Zouma is our #1 defender, and the question is, who's going to partner him? Now when I look at Christensen, I'll be honest, my preferred centre-back pairing is Zouma and Christensen. I feel like with more game time, a lot of people will see how they naturally complement each other. I like how Chris really reads the game and covers the spaces in behind. You know, of course, with Kurt Zouma playing really well down that right-hand side where he's kind of made that position his own, can we really afford to have Christensen in the team alongside Zouma if it means that Zouma needs to be the more ball creative defender playing out from the back? I'm not too sure. We come down to Tomori. With Tomori, listen, he's only 21 years old, playing in the Premier League, a massive step up from the Championship, and even though he has about 1 or 2 mistakes in him per game, these haven't been crazy massive mistakes, you know. These are more mistakes where he's starting a game, he's a bit nervous, but the player consistently always ends the game really strong. But maybe Lampard's thinking, Tomori, if you want to keep your first team spot, the margin for error got even smaller. I've got Christensen, I've got Rudiger coming back now. These guys are hungry for your spot. You need to make it happen. And with Lampard having projects for the young players in the team right now, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Tomori doesn't play as many games as the season goes on. You look at Rudiger, and he does have a very progressive passing game. He's creative with his passes. He reminds me of David Luiz when he attempts those balls. But when it comes to other defensive aspects of his game, let's say his positional sense, his reading at times, and how he competes aerially, is it as strong? I'm not too sure, especially not compared to his passing game. And I've got to keep this extremely real, but have we really missed Rudiger in this team, as in like desperately missed him? I can't say we have, even though he is a very good player. I'm going to pose this question for you guys. What do you think is our best centre-back pairing? Do you think we have to see maybe a back 3 to accommodate some of these guys in the team? Make sure you comment below. And now we move on to the second talking point. And of course, I got to talk about that Covante. It's terrible, I know. I'm trying to think how I can freestyle a name for Kante and Kovacic. Covante is the best I can do. If you can do better, make sure you comment below. Covante. All I think about, you guys, is balance. They bring that balance to the team. They build that platform to help us play out from the back. These guys cover so much ground. As you can see beside me, you can see the heat maps and the average positionings of both these players. And look at the heat map. They covered the entire field basically. Amazing platform if you're a fullback that's bombing forward to make runs, if you're a centre back that needs passing options to play to, and of course if you're attacking players in front that like to make runs and behinds. Last night they had a combined total touches of 250. Cover had 92% pass completion and Kante had about 88%. They both played 4 key passes, and it's the 4 key passes they played that really just intrigues me. Now, of course, being the geek I am, I got to look in the stats and details, etc, etc. And when I compared the performances from what I've seen from these players compared to Jorginho, I saw some notable differences. And I think the major difference I'm going to focus on now is that with Cover and Kante, the reason why I keep stressing balance is because they have that balance defensively and that balance offensively. For example, when Kante was going forward with the ball in yesterday's game, Cover was sitting deeper, and it worked vice versa. When Cover was running forward with the ball, Kante sat deeper, and it's this type of combinational play that you don't necessarily get with Jorginho and Cover. That's because Jorginho isn't that midfield player that likes to really carry the ball or leave his zone. He's much better at the base, progressing the play, finding passing options. He's not the guy to really carry the ball and run into space. But when you have Kante and Cover, 2 midfield players that are quite similar in that sense that they cover so much ground, great defensively, win their tackles, can provide something with their passing or goal threat. For me, you guys, this is the best, most balanced midfield 2 we have right now. We got 8 key passes from our midfield last night. In other games, Jorginho most times isn't even getting maybe 2 or 3 in a game. And that's not me disrespecting the player. I like Jorginho a lot. You guys know last season I was constantly defending him, really highlighting his skills and what he brings to the team. But I'm thinking of team balance. I'm thinking of the greater good. And right now, Cover, Kante, Covante are that midfield too. Does this spell the end for Jorginho? Only time will tell. But now we move on to the third talking point. And I want to talk about Tammy Abraham, his performance last night, and why we missed him desperately against West Ham. I mean, for Tammy to come back into the team, to produce what he did, to get a goal and an assist against his old team which he played for last season, which he grew with, so many friends and relationships at that club, he made a big statement. That's what I like about Tammy Abraham. I've always told you guys, this guy has elite mentality, and we're starting to see it fruition at this club right now. Now, Tammy was subbed off in a more precautionary manner in my personal opinion, which is backed up by Frank Lampard speaking in a press conference confirming that it was just a slight knock, Tammy should be fine. That's great to hear, because without Tammy in this team, we are nowhere near the same. We don't have that same incision, and I'm going to highlight the qualities that Tammy brings to this team. The major number 1 quality is how he leads the line. I mean, we have a striker that can run the channels, that can disrupt a team's defensive line. He can come deep to bring people in and link up and help the build-up phase. He can run in behind. He can be an option for long balls to hold the ball up with his great close control and his Drogba-esque chest-like control as well. He's got so many qualities and solutions a team of our standard, a team that is so fluid like us, desperately needs. Let's look at the goal that Tammy scored. I mean, look at the position he finds himself in. Now, this isn't an accident. This is what Tammy works on time and time again. He's so intelligent and aware to create the spaces for himself inside the box, and that's a very hard thing to do. Look how many teams park the bus. You know, it's very hard to find that space to operate in, to collect shots. I've seen guys like Morata and Torres and so many strikers struggle when they've been told to play in a similar manner. We're seeing an academy guy that's been with us since he was a kid doing what 50, 60 million pound strikers weren't able to do. Tammy finds himself a great area to get in between Aston Villa's central defenders, and it's something he does time and time again. He's always looking to attack their spaces in behind, and this is why when he scores his goals, it's no fluke. He creates them himself, and that's the most important thing. The best strikers, the best, most exciting strikers are the ones that tell their teammates where they want that ball played. And to do that, that starts with the intelligence and the movement to get in those areas. Now, when Tammy found himself in between those centre backs, Reece automatically knew what type of cross to play, making Reece's life even easier. And of course, Tammy finding himself in a no man's land situation between Villa's defence and their goalkeeper. There was only going to be one outcome, and of course, that was going to get buried in the back of the net. I mean, I really love Tammy's movement. It's instinctual at this point. And it's no surprise to me why Luis Suarez was in such high praise in regards to the player, because he most likely sees a bit of himself in Tammy Abraham. To consistently, fight to find these positions, to constantly move, It needs to be an instinct. It has to be part of your DNA. And thank God we have that in our striker up front. Now, to end this point, I want to speak about the unsung part of Tammy's game. The game against Ajax, the 4-4 draw at home. Tammy was at fault for maybe 2 of the set piece goals. It seemed from that point on, he's really knuckled down, he's really focused, and he's told himself, I am never going to put my team in issues like this again. I'm going to fix up. And since that moment in time, you guys, his defending from set pieces has exponentially improved. I mean, his near post defending, his far post defending, he's always getting his head there. He's forceful, he's winning those balls, and that's the type of mentality he has. That's why he's only going to grow, improve, and get stronger. And wow, what a player, what a season. And you guys, that's going to be me with Tammy. I'm going to end things with a final talking point, and I want to talk about Mason Mount and his performance last night. Now, after so many games, Mason Mount finally finds himself back on the score sheet. I wasn't panicking. I'm patient with all our young players this season because I keep telling myself it's the first year of their development playing at this level for a club of this size. And yesterday, Mason Mount was definitely on point. He had about 90% pass completion, 60 touches, 5 shots on goal. He was making things happen. He was influencing the game. And I think that comes down to Mason Mount's work rate, his mentality, to always get in good positions to help damage opposition teams. Now, of course, the reason why Mason was looking more influential in last night's game was that he had a great pivot behind him in Ante. And I think, of course, playing up front with Tammy Abraham, that's how you get the best out of Mason Mount. As Tammy himself said, he told Mason to play closer to him in the second half. That's one thing that these guys have been doing throughout the season, and it's really helped a lot. These guys really work in tandem. They help create space for each other. They help take markers out of the game for each other, and they both have that goal threat inside the box. And I think that's the one thing that we need to realize for this season. Mason Mount is a shadow striker. We are not using him in that traditional number 10 role. He plays close to the striker every single time, so when you really deep it, how many opportunities can you really find where he's going to be assisting people or showing creativity? The creativity and the number 10ness comes from our inside forwards in Pulisic and Willian. And Mason's role is to play up front with Tammy Abraham. And I think their understanding is really flourishing right now. And it's why both players have goals this season, with Mason having 5 and Tammy Abraham having 11. As I'm stressing, Mason is a shadow striker. We don't really need a number 10 because a number 10 player implies that he's coming deeper to collect the ball and start those creative passages of play. We don't need that. With how we play and how to break down teams, instead of congesting the spaces between the lines and really making it hard for Tammy to shake off 2 or 3 markers inside the box, Mason Mount playing that role helps free up space not only for Tammy, but also for the inside forwards to make runs as well. It's a very symbiotic relationship, and Mason Mount does play a very important tactical role. Great to see him last night. Hopefully he continues that form, continues the intensity, and continues shooting with excellent technique. But you guys, talking about excellency, I'm going to be going. No, I'm kidding, I'm playing. But guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Ante FC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys in a bit.